Good morning, Wabash. Speaking today at Pioneer Chapel is trustee and attorney Chris Braun, class of '84, with his talk titled, The Lifetime Value and Power of a Wabash Education. Chris Braun graduated from Wabash College in 1981, where he also studied at the Center for Medieval and Renaissance Studies in Oxford, England. In 1984, he graduated from the Southern Methodist University Dedman School of Law. Upon graduation, Mr. Braun worked as an associate for a law firm in Washington, D.C. for 2.5 years. He subsequently returned to his hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana, where he worked at the law firm of Baker & Daniels and became a partner. Since July 1st, 1994, Mr. Braun has been a named partner in the Indianapolis law firm of Plews, Shadley, Ratcher, and Braun, LLP, where he focuses on a variety of complex litigation, transactional, administrative, and legislative matters. Mr. Braun has established a well-rounded litigation and business practice that has him regularly appearing in boardrooms and federal and state courtrooms in Indiana and elsewhere around the country. Chris was inducted into the Wabash College Hall of Fame with the football team from the national championship runner-up team. For more than 2 decades, Mr. Braun has been consistently selected by various national and state publications as a top lawyer for environmental litigation and environmental law, including, for example, being selected the best lawyers in America and Indiana Super Lawyer. Mr. Braun has been selected by his peers in Indiana Super Lawyers as one of Indiana's top 50 lawyers. Chris is passionate about education and giving back. Chris was a founder and served as chairman for the creation and construction of St. Marie Goretti Catholic Grade School, a K-8 school in Westfield, Indiana. For his efforts in support of Catholic education, Chris was awarded the Bishop William L. Hidge Leadership Award for Catholic leadership. For more than 20 years, Mr. Braun has served as an adjunct professor of law at the Indiana University Robert H. McKinney School of Law. Mr. Braun also currently serves on the Board of Trustees at Wabash College. Now please give a warm welcome for Chris Braun.
Hello and good morning. As a member of the Board of Trustees and the National Chair of the Wabash Annual Fund, it is truly a privilege and a pleasure to talk with you today about my perspective on the lifetime value and power of a Wabash education. I'm a first-generation college student. Would anyone here who's a first-generation college student or graduate please stand? Congratulations to everybody. That's fantastic. I want to share with you now a little bit about my family background and my experiences at Wabash. I grew up in a large Irish Catholic family. Education in my family was quite limited. My grandfather on one side had an 8th grade education. My grandfather on the other side had a 12th grade education. My parents both graduated from high school, and that was the extent of it. A few years later, they married, and Dad was from a large family of 7, and my mom was an only child, and she wanted to have a large family. So Mom and Dad proceeded to have 12 children in the next 15 years. Let that resonate, right, for a minute. I'm the middle child. I'm number 6 of 12. So when it came to, and I knew from the time I was about 11 or 12, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I had to figure out a way to make it happen because my parents were not in a position to fund my education. So if I was going to go to college, there had to be a way. My final choices for college were the University of Chicago and Wabash. Both colleges offered, among other things, an outstanding education and the opportunity to play football. Though in hindsight, I must say I think Chicago has a little more active nightlife than Crawfordsville. One of the deciding factors for me, though, was the very generous scholarship and financial aid package that Wabash offered me. And while I took out student loans every year that I was a student at Wabash and in law school, Wabash was very generous in providing financial assistance to me all 4 years. I was recently reminded of this generosity. After my mom passed away in January of this year at the age of 93, we went through her papers, and I came across some of their old tax returns, but I also came across the financial aid form that my dad submitted for me to go to Wabash when I was a sophomore in 1978. And the form showed that for 1978, my parents' income for a family of 14 was $22,750. So to say I grew up very modestly is to put it modestly. And the $22,750 was before taxes. There's a yes or no question on this form also that says, did or will the student receive assistance worth more than $750 from parents during the school year? The box was checked no. It wasn't that my parents didn't love me, but with a family of 14 and very limited income, they simply could not afford to financially assist me to go to college. One of the great hallmarks of Wabash is that it is an elite college with elite faculty and elite facilities, but it is not an elitist institution, and they allowed me to articulate here. My Wabash experience was fantastic. I had a great time here all 4 years. But when my parents dropped me off my freshman year for football camp, because they did not know anything about college or college experiences, they simply left me with 3 words: make us proud. So a few weeks later, I took my first exam at Wabash, and I was in the political science class with Professor, we called him Fast Eddie McLean. I vividly remember sitting over in Baxter Hall, Professor McLean handing out the exam, and I was shocked, right? I got a 59 on my first college exam, and I'm thinking, sweet Jesus, I am not making my parents proud. I had never received a test score that low, and so I waited till the class ended, all the students poured out, and I went up to Dr. McLean, and I said, Dr. McLean, my name is Chris Braun. He looked at me and he said, I know who you are, Mr. Braun. And I said, Dr. McLean, I can't get through Wabash scoring 59 on my exams. And as only Dr. McLean could do, he used to drop his glasses down like this, and he looked down at me and said, Mr. Braun, you're a very astute young man. I then proceeded to ask for help from Professor McLean, my faculty advisor, Professor Toby Herzog, who was my advisor all 4 years. And between them and the other incredibly talented and dedicated faculty here at Wabash, over the next 4 years, they helped me tremendously to think critically and to write effectively. And as I reflect on my experiences at Wabash, I'm reminded of a wonderful African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And at Wabash, you never have to go alone. Instead, you have an incredibly dedicated faculty and staff that's here for you every single day to allow you to go far at Wabash and beyond. That's the value and power of a Wabash education. Now, I want to talk about the impact Wabash had on me post-graduation. Wabash, while I was here, it deepened my love and appreciation for the power of education. However, despite my great relationship with Wabash, my loyalty, the checks I've written over the years, and my great relationship with Chip Timmons, I could not get any of my 4 children into Wabash. Though it has something to do, apparently I have 4 daughters, so that's why. I am, however, very proud to report that 2 of my nephews, Grant Braun and Adam Mullet, are attending Wabash. Would you guys stand up for a minute? I'm very proud of those 2 young men. Given the many benefits that my wife Trish and I have experienced as a result of a quality education, we always stress the value of a great education with our daughters. My daughter Lauren graduated from Cornell University and later earned a Master of Science in Public Health from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Rachel graduated from Georgetown University and the Walsh School of Foreign Service, and last year graduated with her MBA from Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. Marissa, our 3rd daughter, was a Hunt Scholar and graduated from Southern Methodist University in Dallas. And Catherine, our youngest, graduated from New York University and last year graduated from Notre Dame Law School with her law degree. So in short, in a few generations, we went from 8th grade and 12th grade education to now having college graduates and family members with graduate degrees. Wabash is truly an education multiplier. The link between those two, and the common link, is the Wabash education that I got here. I've always believed that there were 3 lifetime gifts I could provide to my daughters: faith, family, and education. We embrace the Winston Churchill's sentiment that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And that's truly the value and power of a Wabash education right there. One of my key takeaways from my time at Wabash was to love to learn the grind. The grind of and love of immersing myself in these classes, broadening my perspectives and thought processes. The grind of preparing myself for the next challenge and the opportunity, and whether it was in the classroom or on the football field. To this day, I still love the grind in pursuing success. In many respects, I believe the Wabash experience is summed up beautifully in a book written by Angela Duckworth called Grit. While talent and intelligence are important, the key to success is grit, which she defines as your ability to persevere, to demonstrate the quiet determination to work hard, to stick to goals and overcome obstacles, and to have the passion to pursue your goals over time. And as she points out in her book, talent times effort equals skill, but skill times effort equals achievement. And as you mature into adulthood here at Wabash, you're going to be pushed every day by the faculty and by your classes to not only maximize your talent and develop your skills needed to be successful, but also to be very demanding of you because they want the best for you. They want you to realize your potential. And as you know, when it comes to grading, there are no easy A's at Wabash or gentlemen B's. You work every day and you earn everything, every day, every class, every semester. The grit and grind that you learn at Wabash will serve you very well for the rest of your life. That's the value and power of a Wabash education. Now I want to shift over and talk a little bit about the philanthropy and the way alumni view affectionately the college. We've embraced historically over many generations a view of learn, earn, and return philanthropy. Learn while you're here, get out and earn, and return back to the college. And in light of my Wabash experiences, it's truly a privilege and a pleasure for me to serve again this year as the National Chair of the Wabash Annual Fund. This annual fund is used to raise funds to help reduce the cost for all of you students to attend Wabash. And this past year, I witnessed firsthand incredible breadth and depth of support by not only the generosity of the Wabash alumni, but also the Friends of the College and support of you and its mission. I was deeply impressed by how much people want to make college affordable at Wabash for all of you. And when I say at Wabash, every gift counts, I mean every gift counts. So this past year, we had set, for the 9th year in a row, a goal of hitting 40% of alumni participation, right? And this is important for a variety of reasons I'll get into here in a minute. As of the end of May, we were more than 600 donors short of our goal, right? And typically in the month of June, which is the end of the fiscal year, we've only averaged about 300. But as you know, at Wabash always fights, right? And so we had 3 of our outstanding alums, Joe Clem, Kevin Andrews, and Hugh Vanderveer in the admissions office, or in the advancement office, roll up their sleeves, pull out all the stops. And I mean, we pulled out every stop. And it had to be either a gift made or postmarked by June 30. And so when we opened that last envelope the first week of July and opened it up and got the gift, it put us, so we needed 4,799 donors to hit our goal. We hit 4,800. We beat it by 1 gift. So when I say every gift counts, I mean every gift counts. But why is that important, right? Let me put it into context. Why is 40% important? Historically, over the last 10 years, the amount of donations to colleges has dropped by half, right? And by keeping us at 40% this past year, and by way of comparison, our friends 26 miles south of here, while we hit 40%, they had a resounding 18%. But yeah, right? But all across higher education, you're seeing dramatic drops in alumni who will support their alma mater. And many of our peer institutions in the GLCA have dropped by more than half during this time period. 10 years ago, 40% alumni giving by Wabash, we were tied for 30th nationally. 5 years ago, Wabash was 14th. This past year, by achieving 40% alumni giving, we're ranked number 5 in the country amongst all national liberal arts colleges. So schools like Williams, Amherst, those are the only ones ahead of us. There's only 4 ahead of us now, right? We're number 5 in the country because of so you've seen a tremendous decline elsewhere. Here, we've maintained it. And at Wabash, we've embraced the view that was articulated by John D. Rockefeller Jr., who said, think of giving not as a duty, but as a privilege. And as a Wabash alumni, it is truly our privilege to partner with the students in the Wabash community in support of the mission and all of you. So we've bucked this national trend of declining support for the college. This past year, many of you made a gift. We had a lot of folks from the class of 2022 make a gift. We also had gifts. The farthest one back was class of 1941. This guy is 102 years old, and he's still writing checks to Wabash to support our mission here and to support you. So we've left the GLCA schools in our rearview mirror, right? They don't have anybody else in our conference that's even at 30%, let alone 40%. But at Wabash, our goal is not to be the tallest midget, right, in the GLCA, right? We're performing on a national stage. We're competing with the very best schools in America, and I need your help to get there. So our mission this year, because we don't rest on number 5, we don't rest on our laurels. 5 is good, 4 is better, 3 is even better. And we're only 1 percentage point behind number 4 and 2 percentage points behind number 3. So I want to give you a couple of comparisons. So this past April, on the 9th day of giving, through the work of those guys, Michelle Jansen, everyone else who pulled out all the stops, and the creativity of the alumni and you students, we raised $1.4 million, right? And we have less than 12,000 alums total, right? But on the day of giving, $1.4 million. Now, DePaul just last week had their annual day of giving, and they called it All In for DePaul. And they have over 36,000 living alumni. What do you think their number was? It was a whopping $440,000. So with these results, by my count, Wabash has won 2 of the last 3 contests this past week with DePaul. So this past year, we set a record of $3.9 million raised in the annual fund. This unrestricted giving funds and helps every one of you. So when you do the math, you take that and divide it by the number of 832 Wabash men we have here. Each one of you, in essence, received a scholarship this past year of $4,687. That helps defray the cost. It helps provide for immersion trips, lots of things that add to the vibrancy of this college. And we're thrilled to do it. And just so you know, Michelle Jansen and her amazing team in the advancement office, they've led the most successful fundraising campaign in Wabash's 190-year history, right? The Giant Steps campaign. And in the midst of it, oh, by the way, we've had a 2-year pandemic. There was a lockdown, right? And they have raised $234 million, right? Unbelievable, right? This campaign has created 91 new endowed funds for scholarships, professorships, academic department funds. And unlike many schools, Wabash actually uses these gifts and its endowment to provide assistance for its students. 98% of the Wabash men receive some sort of financial aid, which is fantastic. The Giant Step campaign ends June 30 of next year. Between now and June 30 of next year is where I need your help. When I meet with alumni, prospective donors, companies, they often ask, how committed are the students and the Wabash community to the college and its mission? A high level of support within the Wabash community is very important to them in deciding should they write a check to you, and there's a lot of competing demands on their limited funds, but we want them to provide valuable gifts, and we want to show them that we're all in. And I want to be able to tell them at Wabash, all of us, students, faculty, staff, trustees, and alumni are fully partnering with the college and support the college, its mission, and its students. So I want to put it in perspective. Think about breakfast of eggs and bacon, right? The chicken's involved, but the pig is fully committed, right? So that's what I want from you. I want you fully committed. I want you to stay alive, but I want you fully committed. So there's a great scene from a Tom Cruise movie called Jerry Maguire. No, it's not You Had Me at Hello. Oh, that's a great line in its own way. But instead, I'm talking about the famous scene where Tom Cruise is in the locker room with Cuba Gooding Jr., right? And Tom is a sports agent, and Cuba's playing a wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. And he's trying to get Cuba to recapture the joy and the love of the game of football, which will then help Tom negotiate a favorable contract with the Cardinals. And so Tom's in there in their locker room, they're going back and forth, and Tom says, help me help you, right? And that's what I need. Help me help you. So if you help me by committing, that will help us to go out and get donors and other people to support the college. Next April, we have the 10th day of giving. By that date, I need everyone at Wabash to be fully committed. And in this fiscal year, we want to hit a new record for the annual fund. So just to hit the 40% number, we need an increase of 50 donors this year. It's going to be 4,850. But we're not going to rest there, right? Because we've got a plan. We've got a pathway forward that will help us achieve even more. For every 121 additional donors, that's 1 percentage point. This past year, we had 422 students who contributed, and thank you for that. We have 832 students. If you do the math, if we have every student, and I don't care if it's a $5 contribution, right? We just need participation. If we get every student in, that's 3 percentage points, right? So 832 minus the 422 at 121, you're a little over 3.5%. We can get to number 4, and we even have a shot at number 3 nationally. But we need everybody all in. And so if every student contributes, again, any amount, right? Between now and June 30th of next year, it will help us tremendously. I need everyone associated with Wabash, and this includes our Board of Trustees. At our September meeting, I asked all 35 current and 21 emeritus trustees to contribute this year to the annual fund. We already have over 35 who committed, and I'm confident the other 21 will also contribute. As of November 1, we already had over 1,025 alumni donors already contribute to the annual fund this year. So we're on a path to get there, but I'm going to need your help. And I'm going to need the faculty, the staff to show up and fully partner with us to achieve this goal by June 30th next year. Now, next Monday, November 21st, we're going to celebrate Founders Day, the 190th anniversary of the founding of Wabash College. What a great way to honor the many generations of past Wabash men and friends of the college who have been so generous, and the students by stepping up and supporting Wabash and its mission and the Wabash men of the future. To underscore the power and appreciation of my Wabash education and the transformative impact it's had, I will again this year make a very generous gift on the day of giving to Wabash. As you might suspect, given my background, when I was a student, there were many weekends when I was fortunate to have $20 in my pocket to spend when I was at Wabash. But it was the generosity of Wabash and its alumni that allowed me to attend. So as a reminder of my very limited spending abilities when I was a student here, and to incentivize everyone here, for every student, 832, every faculty, 120, and every staff member, 219, that contributes to the annual fund this year, I will contribute $20 for every one of those people, right? And just so you know, it will bring me great joy to write a check on the day of giving for an amount that day that exceeds what my father made an entire year when I was a student here, right? So just to bring it full perspective and where you can be down the road with the Wabash education behind you, that's the power and the value of a Wabash education. So I want to close with this. If we all go together, we can all go far in reaching these lofty goals. Thank you for the privilege and the honor of speaking to you today, and thank you in advance for all 832 of you who will support us in the annual fund this coming year. Thank you. Wabash always fights.